Hey everyone, how are you? Welcome to Pilates plus Bounce. We're just doing our sound and YouTube check. We look good. All right. Monday, am I right? But we're gonna get it going today. All right, we got everything up. We got your comments up. Let me know where you're coming in from, where you're tuning in from. Usually we know it's Canada, and we love Canada. We do, we love it. So today we're gonna go through Pilates plus Bounce, and we're going to start with a little lymph work. And you might also notice that I have a ball, and I also have something called a magic circle. I'm gonna integrate these into class in just a few ways to help us access and integrate our abdominals so that we might feel a little bit more in control of them. I hesitate using the word control because it's such a, there's so many negative connotations, but Pilates was initially called contrology. And in the most, I think, maybe progressive and helpful of ways, it's the idea of influencing your body to strategize or complete a task at hand. So we're gonna work a little bit with it's basically for inner thigh work so we can integrate some abdominal work. So I'll put that off to the side. And I'm excited for our plant of the week and our dog of the week. Yeah, he's in frame, good job. Hey, I can tell you're gonna bark at your neighbors. We're not doing that. So our plant of the week is affectionately called a fire cactus or a pencil cactus. Now, there's not a huge difference between the pencil and the fire. Oh, hey, Canada. And it's more the color. So when you have a red pencil cactus, it's very referred to as fire. This might be called a pencil cactus. And as you can see, it's a pretty robust grower. I got this one as a gift, and it's just blossomed up over the past couple years. Now, I will say again, because the best ones are. This one is toxic to animals. Again, my animal knows not to touch it. He has been trained, and maybe at some point in time I'll explain the hours upon hours upon hours that I spend with this pup every day, training, clicking, treating, engaging. He is not unintelligent. You are a smart boy, right? Are you a smart boy? You are. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but you know, the thing that with all cacti, or with all plants, is like the most beautiful ones are just, they're just not for eating. And that kind of makes sense. They're not for consumption. All right, so let's begin seated. We're gonna do a little lymph stimulation as we start. So have a seat on your rebounder. As you know, you absolutely 1000% can and should transfer anything that's uncomfortable up here down onto the mat below. But for now, we're gonna take our hands onto our knees. Seated should be fine for most of us. We're gonna rock back and round our back, opening up through the back body. And then when you come forward, think of pushing your knees forward into your hands, bend your elbows, lift your chest up to the sky, open your collarbones wide. That's it, Jenna. And just look up with your eyeballs. And then we'll do that a couple times. Maybe we take a little exhalation as we go back, just kind of emptying the lungs, rounding the back, getting warm today. And then a lift all the way up through to the sky. So our lymphatic system is one of the biggest benefits that we receive. Let me rephrase that. Stimulating and helping our lymphatic system is one of the biggest benefits we receive by working with the rebounder, and usually by bouncing. Let's do one more, rounding back. But we can also influence this system with just some gentle movement of the spine, with breath, with creating fluid movements. Let's come back to center. We're gonna take our arms out to the side. We've done this before, it's a little seaweed stretch. So we're gonna reach over to the side, let your ribs shift as far as you can. Let yourself listen almost to falling, not quite though. And then you're just gonna ripple in the opposite direction. And you might say, well, what's up with the interpretive dance? And really, it's about getting the tissues moving and bending in spirals and in fluid sorts of motion that can allow you to stimulate some synovial fluid for your joints to start to lubricate the joints. It can allow your lymph to get a little bit massaged with the movement and the breath, which helps the lymph transfer the waste that it's taking out of our body from our cells. So ideally it's kind of the only system that doesn't totally operate automatically, in the sense of it depends on us to move and breathe and hydrate in order to work optimally. Good. Let's come back to center. We're gonna give ourselves a little, what I call Mary Catherine Gallagher. We're gonna put our hands in our armpits and then just let your shoulders relax down. Give yourself, it's a gentle squeeze. You know, something that if you would check to see if an avocado was ripe, okay? You don't wanna push your thumb through the skin, but you're just doing a little check here and maybe a little stroking downward. I know the YouTube comments are gonna start coming in on this one. Good morning, Tracy. Good, keep going here. You made it, a great way to start the Monday. There we go. Yeah, honestly, you all had a pretty yucky autoimmune weekend where I got just a little whomped, you know? Let's do a couple more of these. And the Monday morning check-in with all of you is like, it's definitely a good one. All right, let's do one more. You do not need to smell your fingertips. Just kidding. Reach your arms up, lift your shoulders up, draw your shoulders down. Let's do that a couple more times. Tracy, if you need your arms forward or to the side, that's okay. And anybody else who's working with shoulder injuries, you can always keep your arms at 90 degrees to get the most out of this movement. Good, and the last one, draw those shoulders down, bring your hands down to the mat. We're gonna bring your ear to your shoulder. For anyone who's tuning into this class, it's a Monday morning, we're side bending, come all the way back up to center, and then go to the other side. And on Mondays, we do gentle practices to prepare us for the week. We don't wanna burn out by Monday night or Tuesday morning, right? We wanna just get our body attended to. Maybe you went hard over the weekend, or maybe you rested over the weekend. Either way, it's just a transitional class to get us in. One more time each side. Side bending, opening up through one side of the body, coming back through the center, and then opening up through the other side of the body and coming back through the center. The last one we're gonna do is arms out to the side, just a little rotation over the right shoulder, come back to center. In Pilates speak, we might call this spine twist, just one of the names that is more obvious. Sometimes the names get a little convoluted, but rotation is a wonderful way to just get some juices flowing. So stand well into your feet here. Look around your shoulder. Good, that's it. And last one. Come back to center. Now, just stay here for a second. Give yourself just a gentle bounce. I'm pushing into my feet. I'm bouncing into my seat. And just see what you can do here. If you want to take your hands down, kind of push and pull, that's okay. And we're just starting to sift out the cells. Yeah, so if you can imagine that, I think it's confectioner's sugar. I aspire to be a good baker, and I'm just not. I'm much better at like buffalo cauliflower. That's what I made yesterday. But you have that kind of sieve sifting device where and then your sugar comes out really fine, right? So think of this little bounce moment as a mode of just kind of helping the cells, just like, just get all the little extras out here. So keep your body aligned, vertically aligned, but also feel like you've got that little vibrational cellular sift. Ooh, I like that, a cellular sift. It's the only time I'm ever gonna say it correctly, I'm sure, but we'll be okay. All right, so as we go here for just a few more moments, let's just take a second to think about what we might want to consider as an intention for the rest of either class today or maybe for the week ahead. This is a practice that I've adopted a little more frequently over the past year, and it's just kind of a nice little partner, your intention. It might just help you refocus on what's important for you this week, and it might help you kind kind of hone in a bit more on what's realistic. Good, we'll just be here for a couple more moments. One of the questions I often ask myself is, what is mine to do today? And that will help sift it away from the responsibilities that I might pick up for other people, or the way in which I might, overwhelm my schedule with an expectation of something amazing happening, when in reality, it's hard sometimes to remember that, taking on enough is enough. Like you don't have to do more in order for it to equal enough. Yeah. All right, let's let it slowly calm down. Just take a moment here. And then as we're just sitting here, I'd like you to just sense the buzz in your body. So you might feel more of a buzz in your thighs. You might feel more in your shoulders, your back, maybe your abdomen, maybe your brain. And by buzz, I just mean like a little vibration, a little leftover. Oftentimes when we do this kind of sifty, oscillating movements, we have a sense of like, oh, something either really needed that, or something really resisted that. You're just noticing. And then if you can take a deep breath and imagine that you're sending that breath right towards the area that's buzzing, to either acknowledge it or amplify it, nurture it, nourish it. How does it feel to breathe into the buzz? It's a little different than a buzz that might come from a substance. And speaking as somebody who has 7 years of sobriety under their belt, it's not the buzz that disconnects you that we're looking for. And speaking as somebody who is also quite a fan of coffee, it's not the heightened buzz, it's that internal aliveness that we're breathing into right now. Good, all right, so we're gonna take ourselves over to the side. If you have a magic circle, I'd like you to go ahead and take it with you. If you have a ball, I'd like you to take it with you. You can also grab a towel, or a pillow, and fold it up as well, or a towel, you could roll it up. We're gonna place this in between our legs as we come down to the back of the mat. So just meet me all the way down here. Whatever you're squeezing, we're gonna place it just above your knee on your inner thigh. And then I'm just gonna nestle my heels in between the bungees. And again, I'll say this a few more times, if you need to come onto the mat to make this work, go ahead and bring yourself all the way down. Take a moment to let your back arrive into the mat. Maybe breathe into the back body for a moment. And then we're gonna begin to squeeze the circle, the ball, whatever it is you're squeezing. We're gonna go in for a count of 4, hold for a count of 3, and then release on the last count. So we go in 1, 2, 3, hold it for 3, 2, 1, open up. Go, squeeze, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 1, keep it still, and release. So we're gonna work on a concept. Keep going, 3, 4, hold, 3. A concept called time under tension. Release, squeeze. Count your 4s, count to 3, then release. Now, as you're coming in, I want you to think not only of the area that we usually feel it, right up in the inner thighs, release in 1, 2. I want you to think about like a whole handful of your inner thigh, front and back, top and bottom. Release in 2, 3. Can you press your pelvis down a little bit more? Good. And release, one more. 3, 4, hold, 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 and release. All right, you have your choice of keeping whatever you're holding in between your legs, or if you want to add a little pelvic tilt and squeeze, we're going to go into that. So rock your pelvis back, drop your waistline, feel the back of your highest waistline pressing into the bungees, into the mat, and then release all the way out to your tailbone. So if you had 2 wheels on your pelvis, they would be rolling backward towards your head and shoulders. as your waistline drops downward, and then they would be rolling forward towards your heels as your tailbone drops downward and maybe your back comes out. So as we start to go back, we can engage the circle to deepen our connection through our midsection. And as we go forward, we can release the circle to deepen the connection to opening up not only our inner thighs, but our pelvic floor. So let's try to see if we can coordinate that. Narrowing the circle, dropping the waist, maybe getting a little bit of a glute activation underneath, and then rolling the wheel forward, widening the circle, widening the sits bones, and feeling an inhale aspect. All right, so exhaling as we go back. Now, whenever I cue for breath, it is an option. All right, let's go forward. If you have been told by a professional about your particular pelvic floor needs, maybe you're working on more release, then maybe your exhalation is going to happen as we open or reach in the opposite direction. And maybe your inhalation is going to happen here. There's a lot of different strategies that people use. So if you've been told one thing in particular, or one thing feels really normal for you, it feels more right than the other, I want you to choose that. But in general anatomical, an exhale will help us come back here, and inhale will help us come forward. We're gonna go one more time. Good. And then all the way forward. Okay, so let's come back to what we might call a centered pelvis. So we're not rocked back and we're not rocked forward. You're just resting in the center. Make a triangle with your hands and place your belly button in the center of that triangle as you place your hands onto your abdomen. So we're gonna try a little strategy called blow before you go, and it's not what you think. What it is blow before you activate. So we're gonna take a breath in, feel your belly expand. As you exhale, breathe out, blow out, start your blow first, and then follow it with a squeeze of the circle, and maybe you'll feel a deepening of your abdominal muscles, like you're just narrowing your waist a little bit, like you're just pulling in as if you were trying to fit through a tight spot between two chairs or something like that, okay? So we're taking a deep breath in, blow before you go, then add your circle squeeze, keep blowing, keep exhaling, and try to feel yourself activate that triangle. All right, breathe in, release everything. Start with your exhalation. Draw that circle in, keep exhaling, keep exhaling, keep exhaling, and release, breathe in. Start with your blow. Some of you might be wondering, is this good for incontinence? It sure is. Breathe in, release. Exhale. Then engage on the second part. Good. Let's go a couple more times. Breathe in. Last one, releasing. And exhale first. Squeeze all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. And good. Let's take the circle out. Go ahead and open your legs a bit for a moment. Just let that release happen through those inner thighs. That's a lot of work there. It is, no lie. Give yourself a little stretch. All right, so we're building with the strategies that we've just worked on. Bring your legs closed, bring yourself forward. You could think of this class as a pre-Pilates class, but I actually think it's a refining class. So we'll get into those exercises shortly, but we're gonna work them from a place of deep understanding. Now, one thing I want you to get out of your brain is the idea that anything on our body is ever gonna be flat, because it's a myth. And it usually, if you do see a flat tummy, it either has more to do with DNA or a very restrictive diet. And I'll die on that hill, okay? Our tummies are meant to be round because we're digesting food. There is gas that happens. For women, we've got all sorts of things going on down there. Embrace the roundedness of your tummy. Think of the depth of your engagement. So when we breathe out, when we're doing our circle squeezes, it's really more about getting closer to the skeleton, activating the muscle that is as close to the skeleton as possible, as opposed to activating the muscle that's close to the skin. When we go wild in our cardio and all that, that's all skin, baby. That's all skeletal muscle. This is deep musculature, so we're gonna combo both of them. I want you to take a deep breath in. As you exhale, feel that blow before you go, and then lift your knee all the way up. We're focusing on here. We're gonna breathe in as we lower down. We're gonna go, then lift. Breathe in as we lower down. So if we were to count it out, we might breathe out on 1, lift 2, lift 3, lift 4, and then breathe in, breathe in, breathe in as much as you can. Breathe into that back space. Breathing out. We're trying to create a little bit of anticipation in our muscles for support. Breathe out, keep breathing out, breathe out, and in. And there's a benefit of waiting for it, right? Let's do 2 more. So you breathe out, you wait to feel that you've got it, that you can lift your leg out without disrupting every other thing. Last time, breathe it out and lift. Hold it here and just breathe in. Now we're gonna try an upgrade, all right? When we breathe out, start your blow before you go, blow out to move, and then switch legs. So we're gonna inhale and exhale. Spending a little extra time on breath work. You all, this is my real, the area of my expertise is a lot of this post-rehab work, a lot of abdominal connection. I've had a couple of surgeries, C-section, hysterectomy, others for endometriosis. So we are really just refining today. And I hope it's so nice to be building this library on YouTube that we can have lots of different options. So I'm just conscious of those people who come in and they're like, I don't want to breathe for an hour. Raise your hand if you can feel the work that's happening through the breath. Yeah, a little bit, right? Let's go a couple more, I know. All right, let's lower both legs down. Not uncommon to feel a lot in your thighs as well. Now, take your circle or ball, whatever you have, and place it just, oh, I have to watch out for my microphone. I put it in a new place. Place it just in between your chest here. I'm gonna hold it lightly. Hopefully it won't mess me up. What we're gonna do is this time we're gonna exhale and give a gentle pressure to the circle, and then just lift our head and shoulders and roll that circle forward. It's like you're pushing it up from your breastbone and you're bringing your ribs towards your hips a little closer, and then you're gonna lower it back down. So we'll take a deep breath in. Start to feel your chest sink as you exhale. Give a tiny little pressure. It's hardly any at all, just enough to feel your arms working, then curl up and then lower down. I'm just gonna lower my circle because I'm worried I'm gonna break myself. It feels a little better, works a little better at the sternum at your breastbone. Now, when they talk about back pain relief and Pilates, it's oftentimes the integration of breath and movement that really does the trick for people. Blow before you go. Ooh, and if I haven't said this already, I have to say blow before you go is not mine. It is one of my favorite PTs. Her name is Julie Wiebe, W-I-E-B-E. And she teaches a lot of great athletic pelvic floor integration, rehab. So this is a strategy that I've adopted into my world too. Let's do 2 more. Good, last one. All right, go ahead and place your circle down off to the side. Take your hands to your frame. Deep breath in and start to roll up. Use your hands on your frame if you need to. I'm gonna scoot back a little bit. So we're gonna integrate a little bit of rotation, and you have the option to either do that with the circle. You can have it at your chest or your rib cage and hands like that. You can also take your ball right to your center. So we're gonna combine a rock back. Now I'm actively using my calves against the frame, and I encourage you to do the same. You come back just to that point where you feel like you're gonna maybe fall a little bit, that the edge of your ability. Hold it here, and then we're gonna rotate over to the side. You wanna feel one side of the rib cage pulling back, the other side kind of pressing forward, coming back to center, and then we'll go to the other side and coming back to center. We're gonna repeat it a couple more times and then come up to the top, all right? So nice and tall, deep breath in, rock back, curl your tail under, roll your wheels back, find your working position, and then keep both hips even as you twist one way, center. I'm exhaling as I twist, center, again, and sit all the way up. Woo, we're gonna do that a couple more times. Deep breath in, rock it back, wide back. Inhale here, twist. Breathe in, center. Breathe in, center. And if anything is coming up as unclear and you want to type it into the chat, I am happy to chat with you about all these things. Let's go one more to the back. Good. Come back to center, lengthen all the way up to the top. Nice work. Let's do it 2 more times. Rock back. Can you go back a little farther this time? Breathe in. Exhale. Inhale. Slower is not always easier, right? Last time. Come back to the center, lengthen all the way up. Big breath in, last one. Breathe in. Can you go down a little lower? Breathe out. Good. Come back into center. Come all the way up. Nice work. All right. I'll keep my eyes open for any questions. We're going to come onto our knees for a moment, work a little bit more of our hip mobility. So what I'd like you to do is on your rebounder, make some space for your feet. So you can take your foot through the bungees and underneath, so you can kind of press up on the frame. So you have a little more stability. We're gonna go for a hip hinge here. So there's a couple ways we can go about this. One is just trying to hinge at the hips, and you're gonna get some action in the back of your legs, and they might even cramp a little bit. And if they cramp, just stretch them out a bit, or you can come up for a second, and you'll understand based on the range of motion. A little less will probably cause less of a activation in the back. A little more is going to cause more. If you need to, you can hinge and sit towards your heels. That's an option. If you feel okay here, you're going to keep pressing up against the arches and try to keep your hips close to over your knees. And then we're going to squeeze and roll that pelvis back up. So we're working a very active hip hinge. I'm going to keep my hands on my hips for the first go around. Let's see how we do, all right? So deep breath in, fold at the hips. Just imagine peeking over the edge of your rebounder using your feet and your legs for help. And then lift from your back, squeeze your seat right where your glute meets your hamstring to come up. Lifting up at the front, I know. We're not gonna do a ton of these, but I wanted to integrate some hamstring work and some back strengthening here. Good. Hip hinging is just amazing. It's an amazing skill for balance, for backup leg strength, for hamstring strength, as I'm sure you can hear it and feel it. Maybe you hear it too. For knee health. Woo, for a little bit of fall, prevention in a way. Just make sure as you get fatigued that you know exactly how low you're going Don't be afraid to press up against those feet. Let's do 2 more. Good. And lift. Woo, it's the real deal. Last one. Good. And all the way up. I cheated that one a little bit. I'm gonna give myself a bye today. All right, turn to face me. Let's replace your bungees. So we've got the backs of the legs really active now. We're gonna take our right hand over, and what I want you to do is activate the backs of the legs, so while you're in your side bend, you're pressing your hips forward. So you have open hip flexors. You're not sitting back this time, okay? And then you can have your hand to your opposite shoulder or behind your head, and we're gonna extend one leg out. So before we start to lift this outside leg, let's come out of our hinge, press forward, active on this bottom leg, and then just lift as much or as little up and touch. Now, if your blow before you go strategy works here, then you can slow down the repetitions and find the connection before you lift the leg up. It's totally possible. We've got some hip cramps happening today for me. Good. And we are abandoning in most of the other Pilates and Bounce classes. I go through what's more of a classical order, even though Joseph Pilates did not teach on a trampoline, we're fine. So if you're looking for more mat-based work, great, go for it. Today is about a little more rehabilitative, a little more activation work. One more time, lift up, good. All right, walk your hand forward, bring your foot around to the front, and just take a nice long hip flexor stretch here. Yeah. Good. I really operate as a teacher, from the idea that we can stand on the shoulders of giants. And that allows me to dip deep into the history of whatever I'm teaching, add in the science of whatever's happening right now, and then also put it through the filter of what could be meaningful for the folks who are engaging with it. So let's come all the way back. We'll get ready for the other side. Taking it over to the side. Take the leg out. Activate yourself out of the hip hinge. So you're nice and long here. Hand is where it needs to be. And then we lift from underneath. We're gonna go up. And there's not a lot happening on this side. Good. And today it's really about meeting your body where you want to be met, yes? So if my leg's telling me, hey, I am not ready for that range yet, then I'm just gonna work with it where it's ready and then still stay curious about, okay, are you ready for it now? Are you ready for it now? Are you ready for it now? Good. Let's go for 4. For 3, for 2, for 1. Good. Bring your hand down, bring it forward, and come into your stretch, opening up the front of that hip. I'm just keeping it simple for today. Yes. Good. All right. We're gonna come back onto our hands and knees for one more little exercise for our legs. Let's come around. Let's take our hands onto our frame. Knees hip width distance apart. Let's round the spine, just stretching the back out. And then extend the spine. Play with your breath here and see if you can find a little more integration. Round, 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 round. I will switch the title of this one to more of a fundamentals class, but I needed it today. I hope you did too. Let's round it out. Good. And then from here, let's stretch it out so it's a nice long flat back. You're gonna flex one foot and transition the weight to your 2 hands and to your 1 knee. And then we're just gonna lift the leg up and we're gonna touch it down. So this does not have to be super high. It's more of finding the hip extension. What we're not doing is dropping our back down to lift that leg up, okay? So it's not uncommon to have a lessened range of motion as you lift that knee, when you're working on spinal stability. Good, keep going here. Yes, beautiful. Thank you, Tracy. I'm happy that, I wish my eyes were working better, but I'm happy that you're enjoying the trampoline. We need a lot more options for normalizing rehab work because so many of us are rolling with something, you know, so why not integrate it? It's like including all the colors into your palette. Let's do 2 more. And on the end of both spectrums, last one. Good, come on down and let's do the other side. So re-energize your support systems, push your frame down, feel that connection to your breath through your torso, and then when you're ready, lift the other leg up, and then we come down. So, you know, what's interesting about it is that we like to get on the thought train that says we're not working hard enough or not doing enough, and that one often leads us to the thought virus that says, so why bother? I'm not strong enough, I'm not flexible enough, I don't have enough time, I'm not, you know, skilled enough, so why bother? And then that's a dangerous one to do because we need stimulation in our life, we need movement in our life, and there are options. On the other end, if we only stay with the gentle, gentle, gentle practices always, then we also hold ourselves back from getting the most out of a fully, you know, realized program. Here's our last one. All right, friends. So we're gonna come to stand, finishing up, so make your way up. And we're just gonna take a little sifty bounce. We're almost finished today. Unlock your knees, feel your feet grounded, and I just want you to revisit what we did at the beginning as a means of just letting it go for a moment. All right, wide feet, nice engaged awareness. Yeah, good. It's even like, you know, you have all these black and white artists, but they, even though they're not using color, they make up for it with depth and perspective, right? So there's always this like, you can limit what you're doing, but make up for it with awareness, intention, the precision that you're working with, building a skill, right? So even though today might not register as much on your Fitbit or whatever, it's probably gonna register higher in your brain because you took the time to really work with yourself. Good. Let's calm this bounce down for a moment. Bring your feet a little closer to hip width distance apart. And then we're just gonna shift our weight over to our left leg. Think of all of what you've done with your breath. Your knee is unlocked. You know how to support yourself here. Take your arms out or to your hips, whatever you need, and then just see if you can find a balance for a moment. And work your breath with that balance. Reaching through the crown of the head, reaching down through the sole of the foot. Feeling the opposition, the stretch, the length, the vibration. Good, staying here for 4, for 3, and 2, and 1. Good, release it down. Shift your weight down into your opposite side. Grow up through the spine. Reach those arms wide. If and when you're ready, work your breath. Keep it calm, keep it supportive. Excellent work. Staying here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so if you need more today, then I'm gonna encourage you to go back last week's cardio bounce, which I think today's class 43. Last week on Thursday was 42, and it is a very engaging cardiovascular Tabata style workout. So if you need more, go for more. If this is what you needed, let it be enough. And know that on Thursday, our energy is gonna go back up a little bit. But again, let's keep opening up the dialogue, all right, for more thought-provoking aspects. of what we're doing here. I had mentioned that we have a couple new programs that are happening. One is Intro to Step Aerobics, which is really fun. It's an 8-week program. It's starting on March 26th, and you're going to get a lot of basic aspects. Good. Oh yeah, I love that cardio class too, Joy. You're gonna get a lot of basic aspects of step technique so that we can be safe when we're doing it. There's lots of options for people who don't have a step. You can do it without a step, or you can do it with a step. You maintain access to all classes within the entire series. So that's 8 weeks of step aerobics classes. There are a couple other step aerobics classes in there. You have stretch and mobilize classes. You have strengthening classes, and then some step-specific stretch classes in that library for you. And so today is the last day to register with the discount. It's step 15, STEP15. You'll get 15% off of the cost of the program, which is $298. But again, you maintain ongoing access, and often I add in more over time to keep it fresh for you. So if you're excited about step, awesome, come join me over there. If you're still more excited about rebounding, visit Jenna-Zaffino.com and look at past clinic libraries under the movement tab, and you can find everything you need, including programs and libraries and focuses for all sorts of needs. So thank you so much. Yes. Good, I'm glad you're motivated today. And then the last one before we go today, I just wanted to tell you that we're close to launching the Little Jay-Z Studio Journal. And so if you're a member of one of the libraries, you're going to get a link tomorrow with a sample page that has what we've been talking about, which is a little kind of inventory sheet that you can start working for yourself. So I'm really excited about what's to come for us. March ends a contract with another company I've been working with for the better part of the year, and I'm stepping in to a new phase of coming full force back into Jay-Z Studio, and I'm really happy to be home. So thank you for being here with me on the channel. Share, like, comment, subscribe. Come over to Jenna-Zaffino.com. I would say jz.com, but I don't own it. Not yet at least. Come over to Jenna-Zaffino.com, be with me over there. And in the meantime, take good care of yourself. Don't forget to ask yourself why it mattered today. And I'll see you next time.